Finally, Anne and Oscar wed, but there was something that bothered her. She had noticed how Mike kept staring at her during the reception, and it made her rather uncomfortable. She didn't like the way he was looking at her. It was a look of pity, which didn't sit well with her. But she had tried to ignore it until the reception came to an end. Remember to subscribe and drop your comment as we continue with story. Now that the reception had ended and she was alone in the bedroom, she realized how nervous she was. Anne was shaken, very shaken, since she had never had it before. This was going to be her first time. A lot of thoughts were flying through her mind now that the wedding was over and it was time to consummate her marriage. She was awful shy and felt too conscious of her body. She wore the lingerie that her mother bought for her and then approached the long mirror to stare at her reflection for a moment. She had already removed the eyelashes and washed off the uncomfortable makeup that her mother had insisted she wear, and she felt like herself once again. As she stared at herself in the mirror, she didn't feel attractive enough. She turned this way and that way, checking her body in the mirror. She felt something was wrong as she negatively scrutinized her body. The door was open, and she quickly turned to look at her husband. "Hey," Oscar said as he walked into the room. "Hey," she whispered. "Are you ready?" he asked as he began to undress. And was so disappointed. She had envisioned her wedding night to be very sweet, but it was not like she had expected. She had imagined that the bed would be strewn with roses and there would be candles all over the floor. She had expected that she would be pampered and her mind would be put at ease by her husband before they had it. But no, everything was just ordinary, and it made her nervous. "Aren't you going to take a shower?" she asked her husband, who was roughly kicking off his shoes after discarding his suit and shirt on the floor. "Shower? We can have the shower together after our assignment," he said. "After our assignment?" she asked with a frown of disappointment. "Yes," he said. "Please don't tell me you're on your period, though. I've looked forward to this day." "No, I am not," she quietly said, still frowning. "Better. So tell me, how do you want it?" And gave him a flustered look. "Oscar, why are you acting like this? Can't you be sweet about this? This is our wedding night, and it's supposed to be special. Come on, and not today. Just drop the drama queen act already. You're a married woman now, so start acting like one. Anyway, maybe I'll let you move in with your elder sister for a while so that you can learn the proper way a married woman should behave toward her husband." "I'm not moving in with my sister for any reason," Anne angrily said. He glared at her for a moment and smiled. "I'm sure you didn't mean that. Well, let's go to Jerusalem now. We can talk about that in the morning. I would also like to see your resignation later, too, as we discussed weeks ago before." Before Anne could utter a word, he placed his hand on her shoulder and told her to face the mirror. The next day, Anne called Eva because she couldn't understand what happened the previous night. Within 10 minutes, Eva came around, and just when they were having a soul conversation, Adon walked in. "What are you doing here?" Anne asked. Adon ignored her for a moment as she admired the living room. "This place is really fine." "Oh, Anne, you've hit a jackpot. For the second time? Why are you here?" Anne angrily asked. "Uh-huh. Is that how you welcome your sister? Have you forgotten that we agreed that I would move in after you get married? Are you serious right now, Adon? I just got married yesterday, and I'm supposed to be having a good time with my husband. Why the hell would you come during my honeymoon? And what has my presence here got to do with your honeymoon?" Adon asked. "Does it occur to you that my husband and I will need some privacy to ourselves?" "Oh, have you forgotten what honeymoon means?" Anne asked. "This house is too big to accommodate 40 people. You two can do your honeymoon wherever and whenever you like and pretend like I'm not here. I'll just stay out of your way." "Adon, I just got married yesterday, for Christ's sake. We agreed that you would move in 2 weeks, 2 weeks after the wedding." "Well, I know, but 2 weeks is a long time to wait, and I've waited long enough for you to even get married in the first place. Our room in Papa's house is so boring, so I have to backdate my moving in today," Adon said as she dumped her handbag on the couch. "I'm here now, and you can't ask me to go back. Does Mama know you're here?" Anne suspiciously asked. Yes. She was even the one that hired the car for me," Adon answered as she sat down and made herself comfortable. She crossed her legs. How could she support your coming here now? Is it part of our agreement? I just got married, and you two couldn't give me a breathing space before invading my new life, and complained. What about Papa? Does he know you're here? No, Adon answered and looked away. I'll call him, and said and started to dial her father's number when Adon suddenly interrupted her. Call him? You want to go and report me as usual, right? Daddy's girl. I don't know why you're uptight about my being here. I came here to simply be with my loving sister, and this is how she treats me. Like an intruder. This house looks so big and beautiful that you should be glad a sister like me has decided to move in with you to give you some company. Be grateful for once. Well, last time I checked, newlyweds are allowed to enjoy their honeymoon in peace and alone, Eva said politely, emphasizing the last word, alone. Adon gave her a disgruntled look. Meaning what? Who is this one? Who called her into this matter? She asked, gesturing at Eva. She's my friend, Anne answered. And why is she here if newlyweds are supposed to be alone and enjoy their honeymoon? Why is she not practicing what she preaches? Or does being a friend make her an exception? Besides, if I recall, she's the same person you used as your chief bridesmaid instead of me, the lady who wore the killer dress and wanted to take all the men's attention to herself. But thank God I came prepared and couldn't be busted. Eva laughed. Hey! At the mourning old woman in a deep language. Eva shot Ada a spiteful look before storming out. See what you've caused, and angrily said to Ada, are you happy now? I was having a serious conversation before you came in, and ruined everything. Do you always have to show up at the wrong time? Ada shrugged unbothered. Sorry, madam. Anyway, is there food in this house? Because I'm very hungry, she asked as she headed for the stairs. And turned to Ada, her voice laced with annoyance. Where are you going? Ada paused and smirked. Is this how you treat a very important guest? Besides, where's my room? Anne ignored her and continued upstairs. Ada called out after her. No problem, you can leave for all I care. I'll just choose any room I want until I can claim the master's bedroom. Ada looked around the living room, clearly impressed. Chai, this place is sophisticated. Look at the furniture. He's even changed it from the former one I saw months ago. This guy is swimming in money, no serious money, and money is good. She continued imagining her future. Once I take over, I'll resign from that useless teaching job and become a full-time housewife. Let the servants do all the work. I can't kill myself with this when a man has this money to throw around. No problem, it's my turn to shine. Anne is only the madam for now, but I will be the permanent madam. The next day, Anne was eagerly waiting in the nurse's room when Eva walked in holding the test results. Is it the one? Anne anxiously asked. Yes, Eva replied, and everything came back negative. Anne placed her hand against her chest and sighed in relief. Then where could the smell be coming from? Eva asked, did you go to the gynecologist like I told you? Yes, I did, she said. I'm perfectly healthy. Eva frowned. Then there must be a problem somewhere. And paused, deep in thought. Come to think of it, what if this is spiritual? Eva raised an eyebrow. Spiritual? I highly doubt it. And continued, I just feel like anywhere this is my house and you do not decide who stays or who lives I do. And shut back, but I am your elder sister. Whose side should you be on? Would you just want this small girl to disrespect me like that? Me, your only sister. Oh, Ad. I understand how you feel, but you being my elder sister doesn't mean I will be biased. Do not forget that you're not supposed to be here to begin with. I invited Eva, not you. Oh, I see, so this is it. So it is now a crime to meet someone's sister and want to be with her. She shot a scornful look at Ad-Dan, and then left. You see what you have caused, and angrily said to Ad-Dan. Are you happy now? Are you happy? I was having a serious conversation before you came in and ruined everything. Do you have to show up at the wrong time always? Sorry, madam. Anyway, is there food in this house because I'm very hungry? Ad asked, and suddenly headed upstairs. Where are you going? And asked, is this a way to treat a very important guest? Besides, where is my room? When Anne ignored her and disappeared upstairs, Ad added, no problem. You can leave for all I care. I will simply choose any room I want until I'm able to claim the master's bedroom. Chai, she resumed, admiring the living room. This place is so sophisticated. Oh, just look at the furniture. He has even changed it from the former one I saw months ago. This guy is swimming in money. No, serious money. And money is good. Once I take over, I will resign from that useless teaching job and turn into a full housewife while the servants do all the work. I can't come and kill myself with CHS when a man has this money to throw around. Shy, no problem. It is my turn to shine. Anne is only the madam for the time being, while I am the permanent madam. The next day, Anne, who was patiently waiting in the nurse's room, eagerly got up when Eva walked in with the test results in her hand. Is it the one? Anne anxiously asked. Yes, Eva answered. And everything came back negative. Anne placed her hand against her chest and released a sigh of relief. Then where could the smell be coming from? Did you go to the gynecologist as I told you? Eva asked. Yes, I did. Did she say anything about you having a spiritual odor down there? No. She said I'm very healthy. Then there must be a problem somewhere. And, come to think of it, what if this is spiritual? Spiritual? I highly doubt it. I just feel Oscar is doing this to me intentionally to teach me a lesson for making him wait this long. I'll go home and beg him to stop. In fact, I'm ready to do anything he wants. I'll do it anywhere he wants, whether in the bedroom, on the floor, against the wall, anywhere. I just want to feel loved. I didn't keep myself this long just to end up being rejected and accused of smelling down there. Eva sighed. I would have suggested you try another man to see if the same thing happens, but I know you wouldn't do that. Anne responded, her tone defensive. Hey, don't even go there, please. I didn't sleep around when I was single. Why would I start doing something disgusting like that now that I'm married? Eva shook her head. I'm just saying, easy, you two. At that moment, they heard someone stop at the doorway. It was Dr. Mike. Good morning, ladies, Mike greeted, stepping into the nurse's room. What are you doing in the hospital? Aren't you supposed to be on your honeymoon? Anne nervously scratched her head, glancing at Eva. I just came to do something important. Mike nodded, his expression serious. I see. How's your husband, by the way? He's fine, doctor, thank you, Anne replied, still on edge. Mike asked, did you two run the necessary tests before your marriage? Yes, we did, Anne answered. Genotype tests and others. We came up clean. Good, Mike said with a knowing look. Tell me well to your husband, and please be very prayerful and careful. You're really going to need it. With that, Mike walked away and turned to Eva, confused. What did he mean by that? What kind of question was that? Eva, equally puzzled, shrugged. I don't know, but I don't like the sound of it. My problem? Anne angrily asked, with an accusing look on her face. Eva gave her a disgruntled look. So, I am now a talkative, right, babe? I can swear to God, I have not spoken a word about it to anybody, and I don't intend to. Better do, because I won't be happy with you if any word about my predicament gets out. Give me the results, let me go home. Why not call your husband to come for a checkup in this hospital? Eva suggested. You seem to forget that the one with the problem here is not him, Anne answered, picking up her handbag and walking out. 2 nights later, Anne and her husband were sleeping as usual, without cuddling each other, when several knocks on the door woke them up. Who could that be? Anne quietly asked. Oscar, slightly lifting her head off her pillow, replied irritably. Why are you asking me that when there are 3 of us in this house? Go and check by the door. Anne reluctantly got off the bed, walked to the door, and when she opened it, Ad, who was clothed in a skimpy nightgown, quickly walked into the room. What is chasing you? Anne asked, checking the corridor to see if anyone was coming. Oscar sat up, wondering what was wrong since Ad looked so visibly scared. I think there are thieves in the compound. I heard footsteps from my window, Adonis said in a terrified voice. Footsteps? But the security lights are on, the night guards are also on duty, and sometimes the gatekeeper stays up with them. If there were thieves in the compound, they should have alerted us by now, Anne answered. I know what I heard, Ad insisted. I think I heard them scaling the fence at the back of the house where my window faces. Did you see anyone? Oscar asked. Not really, but I saw shadows of men creeping, Adani replied. Sister, you must have had a bad dream or something. I bet there are no thieves in the compound. Please go back to bed, Anne said, eager to return to bed. Hold on, she may be right, Oscar said, getting up from the bed and putting on his slippers. Let me go and check just to be sure. Please be careful, Anne told Oscar. After he walked out of the room, Ad sat in the armchair, while N leaned back against the wall. 10 minutes or more passed before Oscar returned to the room. "There are no thieves in the compound," he announced to the two women. "I even met the night guards doing their routine patrol. We looked everywhere and found nobody. I wouldn't even have believed, in the first place, that anybody could scale through the fence when electric wires are installed on it." And said, "Now, sister, you have heard that there are no thieves anywhere, so please go back to sleep." "I can't go." Ad flinched her shoulders, still acting in fear. "What if they are hiding somewhere and later sneak into my room to kill me? I can't sleep in that room." "Okay, will you rather sleep in the guest room next to us? I think you'll be safer there," Oscar suggested. "No. What's the difference if I'm still going to sleep alone? Please, just let me spend the night here with the two of you," Adani said. "What?" Anne exclaimed. "You're joking, right? We are a couple. How can you spend the night with us? That's the weirdest thing you can ever ask for." "Ada, the answer is a sweet capital no. Go to your room, please," Oscar interceded. "Let me fetch some blankets. She can sleep on the floor of her room if that will make her feel safer." As Oscar began to walk to the closet, Ada got up and stopped him. "Don't worry, my able-in-law. I am too big to be sleeping on the floor. I think the bed is large enough for 3. I will simply manage." Before N could say a word, Ada jumped into the bed and laid down in the center of it. "Ada," she angrily called her. "What's all this now?" she complained. "Babe, please let her be. Remember, she's also your sister," Oscar said. Ada kept making herself comfortable, and N angrily complained, "Just know that I don't like this. I don't like this one bit." N angrily complained as she sat on the bed, got under her blanket, and backed her sister. "Good-in-law, I beg, come and lie down here, Jerry. Let me shift for you a bit," she said to Oscar as she patted the empty side of the bed. When Oscar returned to the bed and the couple resumed their sleep, Adani kept turning and tossing unnecessarily through the night, deliberately pushing herself into Oscar. He would at times wake up, look at her, say nothing, and return to sleep. The next morning, N, who had woken up in a sad mood, walked into the kitchen and saw Ad preparing some fried plantain and egg. "Good morning," she reluctantly greeted. Ad went to the upper cabinet and pulled out a sachet of cereal. "Good morning," Adani, who seemed to be in a very good mood, cheerfully replied. She was whistling a tune and dancing as if she had won a lot. "How was your night? Hope you slept as beautifully as I did. I have never slept so peacefully in a long time, until last night. In fact, I had a good dream." And angrily looked at her sister and asked, "Adani, what's the meaning of that stunt you pulled last night?" "What stunt?" Ad, feigning ignorance, turned to look at her as she carefully flipped the slices of plantain to the unfried part. "Do you think I didn't notice you claiming that you saw thieves and insisting on sharing my matrimonial bed with me? But I really did hear the sound of people walking around. Or is it a crime to be scared?" Ad said. "Don't give me that, sister. And I know that you were only lying. I have this feeling that you deliberately did what you did just to spend the night with us. Even if I did, the owner of the house didn't complain. Now, Ada, I am equally the owner of this house since I am legally married to him, which means that I have a say as much as he does. If you want to keep pulling such antics, you had better return home. I don't have time for all this. Why are you shouting? Why are you so selfish? Are you the first woman to get married?" Ada questioned in annoyance. "I'm not the first woman to ever get married, and definitely, I won't be the last. Why not do all of us a favor and get your own husband? If your plan is to share mine with me, it won't work. Just let that sink into your head now." And pulled her ears in emphasis. "I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all." Ad took a spiteful look at her sister and then quickly took the fried plantain from the oil into a fancy plate. "It's God who chose to give you a husband before me that I blame. But just so you know, as long as your husband is not complaining about my presence in this house, I am not going anywhere. Ada, I am not going to kick you out. At least, not yet. But next time you try that rubbish you did last night, just know that I will break your leg with the door." And warned, then angrily walked out after grabbing a cup, spoon, and her bowl of cereal. Am I the one you just said that to? Hey, that you have really suffered. So, I'm the one this small girl from yesterday is talking to like this? Someone I backed when she was still a baby. Now, she has grown up and she thinks she can talk to me anyhow. Shy, anyway, let's watch and see who will rejoice at last. Let's just watch and see, she said, looking at the doorway and clicking her fingers in a promising way. Vengeance towards N. Before continuing with her cooking, it was exactly 8 p.m. N and Oscar were alone in the master bedroom. Please, now why are you treating me like a leper or scar? What have I done to you? N pleaded as she tried to pull at Oscar's upper arm, but he kept avoiding her. N was persistently trying to get his attention. It was their bedtime, but she wanted to go to Jerusalem with her husband. It had been a week after the wedding, and they were still yet to consummate their marriage. Oscar turned his head to look at her. Oh, what's your problem, N? Is it by force? What part of I am not interested in going down with you don't you understand? But Oscar, you can't do this to me now. It's a week, and you are yet to have me. Please make me a woman. Don't make me a laughingstock. How long are we going to continue like this? Don't you know that very soon people will begin to ask if I don't want to get pregnant? Please, Oscar, don't let my enemies laugh at me. Don't make them think I am barren, and said with tears welling up in her eyes. Ad, who was outside the door, quietly eavesdropped with joy. Oscar sat up. Now, you should be very lucky that I chose to stay married to you after what I discovered. Do not push me, and don't push me until you go and treat whatever smells so bad down there. You can as well forget about having my babies. But Oscar, how many times will you want me to tell you that I'm clean? I have gone to the hospital for tests, and my results came back negative, and said, I don't care what you say. All I know is that I can't stand that odor. Okay, let's do it this way. You don't have to do anything. Let me be the one that will do it. Maybe it would be better that way, Anne suggested eagerly. Oscar gave her a look of misfeeling as he contemplated her suggestion for a moment. Finally, he consented, and was very happy, in a rush before he could change his mind. Before she knew it, the odor materialized and filled his nostrils with disgusting anger. He suddenly shot off his body, got off the bed, and then looked at her in shock. I thought you said you treated yourself, he lashed out. What sort of diet is this? Why are you desperate, trying to ruin my life? I didn't say that I treated anything, and said, now at the verge of tears. I only said I ran some tests, and the results came back negative. Well, you have to go back to the hospital and get a solution to your problem because I don't know how much longer I can tolerate this. And I am a man and a man has his needs. It's been 1 week since we got married, and until now, I can't even touch my wife. What sort of marriage is this? I have this feeling that you knew you had this problem, and that was why you refused me touching you during our courtship. You tricked me into marriage. If I had known you had this odor, I wouldn't have married you. Anne, who was still eavesdropping outside the door, quietly squeezed her fist in front of her, then leaned in to listen again. Tears flowed down Anne's cheeks as his words stung her terribly. How could you say such a thing to me, Oscar? I swear to God, I don't know what you're talking about. I am innocent of all you accuse me of. The confusing thing is that I can't smell this odor that you claim is coming out of my body. I can't smell it at all, Anne said in despair. Oh, so I'm lying? Oscar retorted angrily. You're calling me a liar? It's not your fault. I was only deceived by my driver, who recommended you. Well, I should have known better than to believe in the world of the old. Poor fool. Just know that you have a limit of 2 weeks. 2 weeks, Anne. If you refuse to find a solution to your problem by then, I will be sending you back to your father's house, and my diary will be returned. In fact, they can keep the diary for all I care. He snatched a pillow and angrily walked to the door. When he yanked it open, he stopped when he saw Ad, who quickly stepped back and tried to pretend that she was praying. In-law, she said, smiling, sorry, I was praying, and whenever I pray, I like to pace around. Since my room is not big enough to pace around the way I want, I decided to use the corridor. I hope you don't mind. Without saying anything, Oscar walked past her and went downstairs immediately. He was gone, and at that, Ad moved closer to the open door. When she saw that Anne was crying, She secretly sneered and quietly ran back to her room to rejoice that things were already working out the way she and her mother had planned.